My question is for Usman. So you and Belal Muhammad have had a lot of beef on social media. You guys did a lot of back and forth, and you had a lot to say about him on your podcast. Why are you not getting in the octagon with him instead of Ian?
Well, we didn't have a lot of back and forth. It was just a lot coming from him. I just think he's a dork, and you know what you do with dork is you ignore them. Because, and this is a question. I like that question. This is the thing is, for someone like myself and Belal Muhammad. Right now, Belal Muhammad is ranked, what, number 1 in the division? And I'm below him. I'm looking at the title. I've been where he hasn't been. Yes, of course, he's been a champion, but we saw what happened when it was time for you to defend. I have nothing to gain from fighting Belal Muhammad. He has all to gain. That's why he's the one calling me out. He has all to gain from me. I'm not here to waste time. I want to get the title, and I want to continue on my track of defending being that champion again. Why waste time with him? If I have the title and he's the next guy, I would luckily kick his head in.
Is Kamaru Usman ducking Belal Muhammad, or at least has he been ducking Belal Muhammad? Because he just gave an absolutely ludicrous answer to a fan at the UFC 321 Q&A that makes absolutely no sense, man. No sense, dog. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And it's very clear, right? Kamaru Usman, he's trying to big league Belal Muhammad, right? That, or he's just being, a troll here, which I don't really think that that's the case. This is big leaguing 101 by Kamaru Usman, right? And this is something that we're starting to see a lot of in the UFC these days, right? We got these OGs, these legends that are hanging around. They're still chipping their way through the UFC, kind of fighting here and there. And they kind of have this mindset of, well, who cares if I lose a fight or 2 in a row? As long as I go out there and I beat someone in the rankings, I am immediately right back into the title conversation because what I have done in the organization in the past. Kamaru Usman is essentially using his past and what he has accomplished in the UFC to kind of utilize that in the present now to go out there and get an undeserved title shot. There is no way that you can hear what he just said or see this right here and go that it makes any sort of sense, man. It just doesn't. It makes no sense whatsoever. Right now, Belal is ranked number 1, and I'm below him. I'm looking at the title. I have nothing to gain from fighting Belal Muhammad. He has all to gain. I'm not here to waste time. I want to get the title, and I want to continue on my track of defending. Normally when we see guys that are kind of hanging around, right, they kind of play the big leaguing game to where they're like, well, who are you, right? I'm the guy with the name. I'm the one with all the accomplishments. I only want big fights or I want title fights. Kamaru Usman versus Belal Muhammad is a pretty big fight for the welterweight division, man. It absolutely is. And by the way, the welterweight division is on absolute fire right now. It just might be the best weight class in the organization right now. This was the fight to make. This was 1,000% the fight to make, dude. And the fact that it didn't happen is just, to me, it's a travesty. The bad blood is there. And Kamaru's like, what back and forths? Kamaru Usman, like, the podcast clip, where is it? Why can't you release it? What the hell happened in there? Belal Muhammad's out here saying he made you cry. This and that. It's like there was an altercation, apparently. All these different things. The beef and the storyline is there, dog. And acting like Belal Muhammad is like this nobody is like, I know people try to play that game because they don't like Belal. He's very much a name at this point. He became a champion. Went on a crazy win streak in the welterweight division to where a lot of guys, they were not really excited to fight Belal Muhammad on his run, man, because he kind of had a troubling style to deal with. Right? Usman was kind of playing the game. Now fight the Covingtons, fight the Masvidals, being dismissive towards a guy like Belal. Then Belal becomes the champion, and then things become a little bit different. Right? Leon Edwards went out there, head kicked Kamaru Usman into the stratosphere, beat him in the rematch. Belal Muhammad goes out there, he dominates Leon Edwards, dog. So to act like Belal Muhammad is this nobody is just ridiculous. He's a former champion. He's the number 1 ranked guy in the weight class. This is the fight that should have happened. It absolutely should have been the fight that happened. But instead, we have Belal out here fighting Ian Machado, Gary, because Belal and Ian, they don't care who they fight. They're just willing to fight the next best guy. That is why the fans are starting to get behind these guys, man, because whether you like them or not, they're going to step up and fight anybody. They don't care. And now we have Kamaru Usman clogging up a top spot in this weight class, trying to sit out and get an undeserved title shot because, again, no one is taking away what Kamaru Usman has done in the sport, man. We all know that he is one of the greatest fighters of all time, one of the greatest welterweights. We get it. He was on an incredible run. But is this not a what have you done for me lately kind of business? This guy, like, how could you say this and then you don't want to fight the number one guy? If he fought Belal Muhammad, number one, it's a big fight. It's a fight that people are looking forward to because of the bad blood and the way they match up stylistically. It's an amazing fight. They both have good wrestling. Presumably, it might cancel out, and then we get a back and forth fight on the feet to where it's the volume of Muhammad, it's the power of Usman. What an amazing fight, man. And then you literally have a number one contender fight, and the winner, without question, could get thrown right into a title fight. But nope. Kamaru Usman, he basically doesn't want to chance it. To me, it seems like he doesn't want to go in there and possibly lose to Belal Muhammad because there is this steam. He just can't fathom the fact that he could possibly lose to Belal Muhammad. Because stylistically, I think that it's actually a pretty good fight for Usman. But at the same time, we saw the Covington fights were competitive. And I feel like Belal is better than a guy like Colby. I just don't get this, man. Trying to play the big league 101 stuff. We see Gaethje trying to do this. I'm going to retire if you don't give me a title shot. The UFC is going to have to put their foot down, man, because we love these OGs. We love these legends. I'm a big fan of Usman. This is ridiculous, man. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And like I said, out of his last 5 fights, right, he beat Colby Covington back in 2021. Okay, goes out there, loses the title to Leon Edwards, was winning the fight, gets head kicked into the stratosphere. Okay, but you were winning the majority of the fight. You were on a crazy run, right? Okay, we'll give you the rematch. Goes out there and loses to Leon Edwards. Their trilogy is complete. They were 1-1. Leon goes out there. He heads up 2-1. Now we got to kind of, you got your rematch. So then he steps in on short notice in October of 2023 against Khamzat Chimaev, which, to be fair, there's a little bit of an asterisk here. Is up a weight class at middleweight against a wrecking ball like Chimaev. It was in the middleweight division. Short notice, we get all of those different things. So I don't really hold this one against Kamaru Usman to a degree. He got dominated in round 1 by Chimaev. Almost got finished, but then he battled back into the fight and made it competitive, which, that a loss, even though it was on short notice, it hasn't aged bad whatsoever because look how good Chimaev has been. So it's not a bad loss, but at the end of the day, you've lost 3 fights in a row. When you look at the record, it's 3 losses in a row. You come back against Joaquin Buckley. Everyone's like, you're too old. You're 38 years of age. Your knees are shot. You don't have it anymore. You're washed, Marty Usman, right? Everyone's like, Marty Usman's washed. Then he comes out there and puts on a dominant performance against Joaquin Buckley. And Kamaru Usman thinks that because of what he has accomplished in the sport, which is amazing things, where no one's taking it away, he loses 3 fights in a row, comes back, beats Buckley, who was a surging contender, who came off of a big win over Covington. But really, Usman was his real big test. Okay, so you shut him down. He thinks that he earned a title shot off that. You can't get a title shot off of that, man. Like, I'm sorry, you can't get a title shot off of that. And I know Usman's a big name, and to be fair, he's one of the bigger names in this division. This division is too on fire right now to have some ludicrous happen like this, man. And it's a slippery slope. Once you start handing out title shots and you allow these fighters to kind of play this game to where they're like, I'm just going to kind of sit out and you're going to hand me my title shot, that's a slippery slope to go down, man, right? And here's what I think should happen next. When you look at this weight class, to me, the only option at this point right now, considering what is going on, like if we're trying to have Usman fight soon, JDM is fighting Islam Makhachev. Belal is fighting Ian Machado Gary. Sean Brady, I think, is fighting Michael Morales. We have Carlos Prates versus Leon Edwards. These guys are active, man. All these guys in the top of the weight class, except for Colby Covington and Usman, are basically active, right? I know Shavkat Rakhmonov, he's had some things going on. He hasn't been super active either, but he's another one of those guys. He'll fight anybody. Remember, he fought Ian Gary. That was a great fight, super competitive. I feel like this is the fight to make at this point. 2 guys who are, right in the midst of things. Shavkat Rakhmonov, right? He's undefeated, had that boogeyman kind of aura. Feels like it was zapped a little bit considering, how inactive he has been. The close fight with Ian Gary. This is the fight to make at this point, man. And if I'm Usman, like, how could you not want this fight either? What's your excuse going to be for this one? Shavkat's undefeated. He beat Ian Gary. He was a guy that was supposed to be fighting for the title. Book this fight, man. Book this fight. Everybody else is being active and rolling around here making things happen. We got a loaded weight class right now. We got new fighters on the come up in this weight class. The past that Kamaru Usman has, it is incredible. That doesn't mean that he just gets to go out there, beat Joaquin Buckley, and just come waltzing back into a title shot, in my opinion. I don't think so. I don't think so whatsoever. So if he doesn't want to fight Belal Muhammad, he doesn't, he wants to play the big leaguing game and do that kind of stuff, have him fight Shavkat Rakhmonov. Beating Joaquin Buckley to me is not enough to get a title shot. And I said after he beat Buckley, the fight to make was very, very clear, man. It was very simple. It was Kamaru versus Belal Muhammad. We knew that. We knew that was the fight to make, man. They got this, kind of beef going. The buildup would be so much fun, man. People would want to see this fight, man. Am I wrong? Wouldn't you guys want to see this fight? I absolutely wouldn't want to see this fight. So to hear this from Kamaru Usman, it just makes absolutely no sense, man. It's ludicrous. And like I said, it comes off as kind of ducking, right? Because, behind the scenes, what was going on here? Was this a fight that the UFC was interested in booking? Because to me, and then, Usman's like, well, if I had the belt, I would go out there and fight him and this and that. And it's like, how can you say you're not interested in fighting him when he is the number 1 ranked guy, man? You go out there and, there's questions about you getting a title shot given you lost 3 in a row. I get it. The asterisk with the Chimaev fight, I get it. So you go out there and you dominate Buckley, okay. But if you go out there and you beat the number 1 ranked guy in Belal Muhammad, you get a title shot, man. If he went out there and beat Belal, I would say give him a title shot for sure. But to sit up here and be like, nah, he's the number 1 ranked guy, I'm looking ahead of that, I want to fight for the title, you're acting like Belal is a nobody in this weight class. He's a former champion, man. He's a former champion who went out there and, JDM put it on him, but Belal, he didn't back down, man. He went out there, and I feel like a lot of fans, they respect Belal even more now for going out there, and even though it didn't go his way, he put on a pretty, decent showing against JDM, stood in there, showed that he's, got that fight in him, that dog in him, right? Where a lot of people were like, is he just going to stand out there and strike with JDM? He took some big shots, man. So I feel like a lot of people are impressed with what Belal Muhammad just did in his last performance, even though he lost. This is a fight that people would want to see, man. It's got the bad blood to it. It would have, those mic moments. It would have a fun build-up. I don't get it, man. This makes no sense from Kamaru Usman. To me, this is absolutely ludicrous from Kamaru Usman, man. But I want to hear from you all down in the comments. Like this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss an upload. I would appreciate it. See you next time.